See, already in our last class, we have studied about the thermoelectric effect. What do you mean by this thermoelectric effect? Conversion of thermal energy into electrical energy. Under this topic, thermoelectric effect, we have studied about Seebeck effect. What is meant by this Seebeck effect or thermoelectric effect? We have to consider two dissimilar metals combined together to form two junctions A and B. Generally, it is called to be a thermocouple. Now, the junctions of the thermocouple are placed at two different temperatures. If the junctions of the thermocouple are placed at two different temperatures, that is, one of the junction placed at a lower temperature called to be cold junction and another one at a hot junction. Across the junction, an EMF or a current is passed. That EMF is thermoelectric EMF or the current is thermoelectric current. And the effect is called to be thermoelectric effect or Seebeck effect. Already we have studied about this. Now, we are going to study about the converse of this Seebeck effect. The converse of the Seebeck effect is called to be what? Converse of the Seebeck effect is called to be Peltier effect. So generally we can initially say that Peltier effect is nothing but converse or reverse of Seebeck effect. This Peltier effect was determined by Peltier in the year 1834. According to Peltier, through the junctions of a thermocouple, for example, we have taken copper iron thermocouple, through the junctions of the thermocouple A and B, if electrical current is passed, then at one junction heat energy is absorbed and at the another junction heat energy is evolved. This phenomenon is called to be Peltier effect. The junction at which the heat energy is absorbed is behaving like the cold junction, and the junction at which the heat energy is evolved behaves like the hot junction. So this effect we are calling, or this effect we are considering it as an Peltier effect. See, this Peltier effect is considered to be an reversible effect. Why we are saying that Peltier effect is an reversible effect? If the direction of current in this thermocouple gets reversed, then the hot junction and cold junction is also said to get reversed. So we are saying Peltier effect is reversible. Let us consider the example that I have taken it in this diagram. Say I have taken the thermocouple made up of copper and iron. Through this thermocouple initially in diagram 1, if I am supplying the current in such a way that if the current flows through the junction from copper to iron, at that junction where the current flows from copper to iron, that junction is absorbing heat energy and behaving like a cold junction. But at the same time, if you are considering the other junction where the current flows from iron to copper, that junction will be evolving heat energy, behaving like the hot junction. So when you are reversing that, you see the diagram number 2, at the junction where the current flows from copper to iron. So copper to iron is now the junction B because the direction gets reversed. So that junction B behaving like the cold junction, and the other junction where the current flows from iron to copper is behaving like the hot junction. So the junction A and junction B are getting their hot junction and cold junction to get reversed when the direction of current in that thermocouple gets reversed. So we are saying that Peltier effect is an reversible effect. Then there is another concept called to be Peltier coefficient, which is not given in your book. The Peltier coefficient is represented by the symbol pi and measured in terms of an unit called to be volt. Peltier coefficient can be defined using this relation. H is equal to pi into I into T. Here H is the amount of heat energy absorbed or evolved at any one of the junctions of a thermocouple. I called to be the current passing through the junctions, and T is the time for which the current is passed. See, from this equation, if I am considering if the current supplied through the junction is unity, that is 1 ampere, and the time for which the current is passed through the junctions is taken to be 1 second, then I can say the amount of heat energy absorbed or evolved at any one of the junctions is equal to pi. That is Peltier coefficient. So Peltier coefficient is defined as the amount of heat energy absorbed or evolved in any one of the junctions of a thermocouple when 1 ampere of current passed for a time of what? Passed for a time of 1 second. This we are taking it out as Peltier effect and Peltier coefficient. What do you mean by this Thomson effect? See, in order to study about the Thomson effect, we have to consider a conductor which is unequally heated conductor. That is, at the different points in the conductor, the temperatures are considered to be different. Here I have drawn a diagram considered to be some conductor AB, and the center of the conductor is taken to be C. I'm heating the center point. So the ends are having different temperature compared to that of the center temperature. So this conductor is an unequally heated conductor. Through this unequally heated conductor, if a current is supplied, then throughout the length of the conductor, heat energy may be absorbed or heat energy may be evolved. That is called to be Thomson effect. அதான் நான் இங்க டிஃபைன் பண்ணியிருக்கிறேன். இது உங்க புக்ல வேற மாதிரி டிஃபைன் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. பட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்றதுக்கு இந்த டெஃபினிஷன் படிச்சுக்கோ. That is, through an unequally heated conductor, if you are supplying current, heat energy is either absorbed or evolved throughout the length of the conductor. See how it was defined in your book. The same concept. You have to consider a conductor and the 2 points of the conductor we have to take, and the 2 points are at 2 different temperatures. So if the 2 points of a conductor are at different temperatures, but due to the change in temperature, the number of electrons per unit volume, called to be electron density, at that points will be different. See, the electron density will be higher where the temperature is higher, and the electron density will be less where the temperature is less. So if in that conductor, if you are having 2 points at which you are having 2 different temperatures, the number density of the electrons at that 2 points are different. Due to that different number density, a potential difference is developed or an EMF is created across the 2 points. That definition is given as Thomson effect in your book. So Thomson effect is defined as if the 2 points in a conductor are at different temperatures, then electron density at the 2 points differ, and because of that, a potential difference or an EMF is created in between the 2 points. When you are taking that Thomson effect, there are 3 types of Thomson effect available. One is called to be the positive Thomson effect. Second one is called to be negative Thomson effect. இந்த ரெண்டு தான் புக்ல டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கிறாங்க. And the third one, it is called to be zero Thomson effect. So positive Thomson effect is exhibited by metals like copper, silver, zinc, and cadmium, etc. Negative Thomson effect is exhibited by iron, nickel, cobalt, platinum, then mercury, etc. Zero Thomson effect is exhibited by only one material called to be lead. First of all, let us consider the positive Thomson effect. In order to study about this positive Thomson effect, we have taken the copper conductor. Let AB be the length of the conductor and the C be its center. The center is heated. When the center is heated, then we can say that the center is heated means temperature at A and temperature at C will be different. Now you supply the current from A to B. Then heat energy is absorbed from A to C, and from C to B heat energy is evolved. But at the same time, if the current in that copper conductor is getting reversed, that is, if it is made to flow from B to A, then from B to C heat energy is absorbed, and from C to B heat energy is evolved. So when you are changing the direction of current, the absorption and evolution of heat energy in the conductor also gets reversed. So we can say Thomson effect is an reversible effect. Similarly, when I am taking negative Thomson effect is exhibited by iron or nickel, cobalt, platinum, mercury, etc. So out of this, I have taken iron as the example. So you consider the iron rod of length AB. Let C be the center. Heat the center with the help of Bunsen flame, so that the temperature at C will be higher than that of A or than that of B. Now, when I am supplying the current from A to B, then A to C heat energy is evolved, and from C to B heat energy is absorbed. If you are reversing the direction of current, then B to C heat energy is evolved, and from C to A heat energy is absorbed, which indicates that Thomson effect is reversible. And this type of Thomson effect, we are calling it out as negative Thomson effect. That is, எங்க current supply பண்றோமோ nearer endல heat evolve ஆகும், far endல heat absorb ஆகும். Positive Thomson effectல எங்க current supply பண்றோமோ அதோட nearer end absorb ஆகும், far end அப்படின்றதுல evolve ஆகும். Just to have it in your mind. Another one we are considering about the zero Thomson effect. Zero Thomson effect is exhibited by only one material called to be lead. So lead is the only material which produces what? Which produces zero Thomson effect. In that case, when you are considering lead of length AB, and if the center point C is heated, after that, if you are supplying electrical current, there is no absorption of heat energy or no evolution of heat energy throughout its length. Such a type of Thomson effect is called to be zero Thomson effect. Hope you should have understood